Peace. So, it's Coach Nazir here, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships. So why would you find it is a lot easier to make some videos and answer some questions, do different things while driving. So let's ride along. I'm going to talk about something. Last time I spoke about what it takes for a man in polygyny to be really twice the man, and also discuss. I don't know if it was on this platform on YouTube or if I had done it on Facebook. Nevertheless, what I want to talk about though, when I spoke about it regarding first wives, if you will, so, the idea of loyalty and how you feel betrayed sometimes, or trust can be broken, and so on and so forth. Usually, that's the norm. When it comes to what the norm is you're already married to someone, so you already practicing monogamy. So before getting involved with marrying another woman entering polygyny, you already have a relationship, you already have trust, there are already rules of value and different things established. So I spoke of loyalty from that perspective and how it would look like there's a challenge, there are insecurities, and so on and so forth, coming from the perspective of the initial wife or the first wife. So today, though, since polygyny requires that you're equitable, that you're fair, I must also talk about it from the incoming or second wife, or third, fourth perspective. Not necessarily a perspective, but also being loyal to them without compromising yourself as a man. One of the things we talk about quite frequently is men should really be twice the men when they decide to get involved in polygyny, or they are already involved in polygyny. We share a number of mistakes and challenges, and pretty transparent with what we do. Coach Nyla, Coach Fatimah. So I talked about different ways I did things, how we do better, and how we train on best practices. So when it comes to loyalty and an incoming wife, here's the thing. I talked about being loyal and making things up or better, be more emotionally astute and aware of what's going on so that you keep going when you're entering polygyny, because there's usually a transition period. Things change, they're different. There are a lot of unspoken questions. There are far too many assumptions. Imaginations kind of go wild. So with that being said, what about incoming wife, right? A lot of people just write them off like, well, you knew what you were getting into. He was already married. You already knew that. So, you should expect all of this stuff. And that's actually not the case. What must happen in order to make that transition smooth and also continue to build upon a relationship is that a man, a husband, must be cognizant, aware of those emotions and feelings, because there's also insecurity on that side. Your wife will be nervous or concerned or jealous even of the amount of time that you've been married, because obviously she's entering something. You're already married, you already have a family, there are many things going around. Regarding that, there's assumptions on that side as well. In my case, for example, I was married for 15 years. So that was 15 years of straight monogamy. There was no polygyny dynamics or anything like that. So it was obviously going to be a big shift. So she was nervous about that. But the loyalty must lie between the two. Obviously, putting loyalty to the first wife, putting loyalty to the second wife. But how does that happen? The first thing is awareness. As a man, you must be aware. And as a side note, I'll give you an example. We asked people for some different questions yesterday, and I asked some questions. One of the questions from the sister's anonymous question, she said, what about a man who fears for his hereafter after he got involved in polygyny and recognize that it's a little bit more than he can chew? So he doesn't want to jeopardize his after his hereafter. So let's just go ahead and, of course, become our second point. He was like, no, he's not to blame. He has to look out for his hereafter, so on and so forth. I took a different approach from the perspective. I believe a person like that, again, we're talking about man, we're talking about men. We're not talking about weak men, simps, and those who are fascinated with the fantasy idea of polygyny. Polygyny requires you to be more than twice a man. So, I just want to say, I think the man is absolutely at fault in a situation like that, because polygyny marriage is still a lot. Polygyny is simply one marriage, period. So, this isn't something we can just sample around and decide, it's not for me. When someone else maybe uprooted their life, made a place for you in their life, and expected some serious standards and everything we follow. This is not talking about that. It's like, look, if you feel you can't be just, then one. That's it. It's pretty simple. It's right to the point. It's not, oh, you go ahead and sample this and decide whether or not it's for you. You know, beforehand, my first thing was like, okay, where's the wakil? Where's the wali? Because, again, as a man, good game recognize all game. You can have a man talk to another man and be less emotionally attached to the situation. You kind of recognize it and see where God comes from versus just hearing things. You know, keep in mind, men are seduced by the eyes and women are seduced by the ears. So the man is absolutely at fault. Something that you need to determine what your strategy is, what your plans are, what is transit in, you know, what do you want to do, stuff above. You know, that's deep in itself. So that being said, loyalty and to incoming wife or second wife, what have you, is important. You have to recognize, you have to acknowledge them. You know, whether you as a man necessarily feel them or feel that you should be, understand, because you is somebody that's becoming what you has to be there. That's going to affect your quality of life. Then you can also be the one that determines whether or not an insecurity becomes more than that. By ignoring or just assuming. All right, again, it's twice the man. It's not for the suckers that you're supposed to be thinking, right? It's not for the weak and faint heart. You know, it's not that you want to fight, love, you know, coddle as a man. You have to make those even if it ruffles the feathers or something in the first life. You know, because you don't get inevitable. Right. So, if you don't get the why you making her, why you taking her side type thing, you ain't going right. You get that from both sides. You can take her side, you can take her side. In reality, you don't want those protecting from both sides. All right, in a situation. So, to them, you know, the imagination, assumption, stuff will go wild, but if you get level best, meaning you understand challenge, you understand insecurity, you understand jealousy. You're working on that. Even if you don't understand it, you're working on it. You might not necessarily feel it the way they feel it. However, it's our responsibility to ensure to be congruent in our words and actions and recognize that we must take both their hearts and be ready to or more. You have to take everybody's heart and command. You know, that doesn't mean you can't have a favorite. I mean, Prophet everybody who's favorite was Aisha or Muhammad, right? That doesn't mean you go around parading and say, oh, this or that, or leaning on it. No, that's not what it means. It just means that you're in control of your heart, but you can do your best to do your best being one twice the man. So if you don't understand, it's about learning. It's about learning how to communicate, having these interpersonal communication skills, learning how to listen actively. So when you ask how you are doing, you really know what it means. You understand your body language. You're putting things to the side, your devices, that distraction to be present at that moment. And the more you do that, the more you hope that you build your trust up. They see that you're demonstrating your loyalty. So, shout out to Allah, that helps. I see some different questions are coming in. So, let me see if I can address them safely. Right? All right, so, I should say what I deal with. Keep in mind, my wives aren't with me, it's just me. But, I should see. Question: how should the second wife deal with? Deal with the insecurity of the first wife having more time, years on, and they were being more valuable or prioritized. All right, now notice this. The last part of your thing, you say, okay, I should deal with the security of having more years. Those are facts. What's not facts is being more valuable or prioritized. That's an assumption. Now, that doesn't mean a wife isn't valuable or anything like that. What it means is you're measuring time and you're putting priority and value on the amount of time. Think about it like this. Let's say you have children. Most people have children. Most people work with have children. So you might have loved your 20-year-old or 10-year-old or 5-year-old much longer than you love your brand new 2-year-old. But are you going to say that the 12-year-old or 5-year-old is more valuable than a 2-year-old? Do you lessen your love for the 2-year-old saying, well, I'm just not getting to know you. The love is just now there. That's really not how love works. We try to quantify it by external circumstances. Sometimes it's not the case. I actually did a video on whether or not time and love is the same. But those are things that we can't see. You know what I'm saying? So like Coach Nyla and Fatimah say, mind your marriage. When you mind your marriage, you good. When you're worried about somebody else's or what's going on here, you assume these different things, that puts more of a strain and a challenge on yours with things you can't measure anyway. All right. So if there's years and stuff that was there, that's a blessing that's given to that person. That's what happened. A lot of times they decided to make it part of your life at that time. But don't discount yourself saying, all right, well, you married, like myself, I was married 15 years to Coach Fatimah before polygyny. Now we've been married 25 years, like, right? 25, subhanAllah. So 25 years. And Coach Nyla, I've been married 10 years. Does that mean it's less valuable being 10? Nah, that's not how we measure it. But there are people that do. So that's not a legit measurement. It's more of an assumption, sis. So how I want to tell her to do it is to mind your marriage. Focus on yours. Focus on cultivating that garden, making sure that the rain is in, get enough sunshine, the wind is going to do what it's going to do. So make sure the elements are there for a strong, healthy, fulfilling marriage. And the more you do that, you start recognizing it's not the time that makes it straight. I mean, a lot of people live in, mediocrity. Just because somebody stayed married 30, 40, 50 years definitely does not mean they're happy. When I hear people talk about the whole ball and chain, or I got to get home, and they complain about that stuff, that's weird to me. Like, your home should be restful and peaceful. So again, don't use that as a measurement, but mind your marriage. That's the main thing. How does it become a help? How does he become a help? With bringing the whole family together by being a leader and raising your leadership. One of the things I'll suggest right away is getting a book. You don't even need to get the book. I like books personally, the physicality of them. But get the book 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. If you don't, you can actually go right on YouTube, right where you're at right now. Look up 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership audiobook. You can listen to the chapters. All right. I like the books, the physical books, but I also love when the author of the book reads the book. And John C. Maxwell actually reads his own books and stuff like that. And he has a good voice too, for a white guy. He used to be a preacher, so he has a pretty good voice. Nevertheless, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership can really help step that game up. And then 17 Irrefutable Laws of Teamwork. Both of those books are by him. You can find them online, either free, pay for them through Audible. I like the free 99 plan myself. Or get the physical books. There are also courses too. Don't mistake the courses for the audiobook. The audiobook is the audiobook. The course is a supplement and goes deeper in that. So I'll suggest go through the book first, then go through the course, or get the chapter of the book and the corresponding chapter with the course. It'll really help your leadership on a whole nother level. One question: does the man who wants to love his first wife less, or doesn't he like her anymore, or something like that? Nah, it's neither one. I don't know when you joined, sis Abdullah. By the way, assalamu alaikum, everybody, peace. Let me know where y'all chiming in from. What state, country, location, where y'all at? Does the man who wants to love his first wife less, or does he? What do you say? Does he like her, or does he like her anymore, or something like that? Listen, I address this question a lot, and for sisters, they don't get it, and it's fine. I understand, but just know that just like we men will never understand what it's like to get a monthly period, understand to have menstrual cramps and all of that, or to give birth. All right, we can be there at the birth. We can see what happens. We can help the birth. We can deliver children. I've delivered 3 of my sons. So it's a whole nother level. I'll never understand that pain. And my wife sometimes says it's a mental illness that women want to have more children than one child after going through that pain. They forget about it and think about all the good stuff. When that pain kicks in and it comes back, like, that's it. Then still have more. I have 10 and didn't have to birth any of them. Alhamdulillah. With that being said, it's something that you're really not really going to understand. The Prophet ﷺ said that if a man or son of Adam had a mountain of gold, he would want 2. You know what I'm saying? If you're more precious than a mountain of gold, it's in us as men in general. Now, polygyny is a form of marriage. So polygyny requires you to be more and to be responsible for your pleasures and everything. So no, it doesn't take anything away from man. One of the best ways I heard it is that your marriage is so good, you want to do it again. I have 2 wives. I'm content. I wasn't looking for a second wife. I was open to it. I'm not looking for a third or a fourth. I'd rather help my children get married. Alhamdulillah, one of my daughters recently married, so I'm excited about that. But there's a lot more children to go. I'm not missing anything. Neither of my wives are defunct in anything at all. That's the automatic assumption that I'm missing something. So I have to be this person, that person. Or I heard somebody that wrote a book about how to keep your man monogamous, which is hilarious. That I'll be the first, second, third, and fourth wife. And that sounds good. And it's cool. That's actually a good idea to have. But that's not really the thing. And then most women are not going to experience polygyny anyway. Now, will they probably experience somebody cheating or something shady or something like that? That's the world we live in. We know what's real and what isn't. We know that very few people when they in this culture in the West, even though they're wearing white dresses and everything else going down the aisle, that they're not living up to what that white dress really stand for. Muslims are included in this as well, right? So we know what the deal is, but polygyny is in nature, or in line with man's nature, and requires you to be responsible. So when we're talking about king talk, or talking about being real and responsible, and it's family based, it's not polyandry or polyamory, or it's more individual desires, lust filled based. This is family based. The only one, all the children don't know who the parents are. And there are rights and responsibilities that go pretty much for everybody. So trying to understand that is futile. There's a lot of different reasons, but very few men that I know think about it. Think about if you're married, right? You have 24 hours in a day, what's 168 hours in a week? Think about the amount of time, calculate the amount of time you spend being intimate, physically intimate. What percentage is that? 50%? out of 24 hours a day, what, 12 hours a day you intimate? No, what is it? 10%? 2.5 hours a day? Right, exactly, right? It's a very small amount. And sex is cheap. All right, in general, the West, sex is cheap. Do you think people have to wait to get married to have sex? Are they doing that? So, and again, I'm just saying that because usually people think, oh, the reason that men marry more than one wife is so they can have more sex. And that's really belittling marriage. If you're married monogamously or whatnot, ask yourself, is the reason that your husband chose you just he's want to have sex with you? Is that it? There's, so much more than that when it comes into polygyny, but there's many different things for different men. So, it's hard to understand for a woman. For men, it's not really hard to understand. That's the way we're built. When you think about in the Quran, when Allah Ta'ala talks about Jannah and talks about the women of Jannah, the Hawariyin, you think about that. Allah Ta'ala lets us know what we're going to have, not women. It doesn't say that for women. It's not just one thing. If you want to, you look at mankind, you look at history, you look at wars when they used to bring the women out to the battlefield to motivate the men, the families, or they would have women right now, cheerleaders, not COVID times, but now the women are the cheerleaders, or really is this motivation for men. It's not the same thing. Men and women are not the same. It's not the same the opposite way. We don't even necessarily experience sex and intimacy the same way. There are different things, different parts of connection. We are built for each other, but we're different. So trying to understand that, again, is just like me trying to understand a period or understand giving birth. I hope that helped a little bit, sis, but it's not, that's a common question, but it just kind of is what it is. Those are just some things you just really not necessarily going to understand. How does it become a help? We're bringing the whole family together. Okay, I answered that. That's leadership. I should take my deal with it. Okay, cool. That's all the questions. I've reached my destination. So I'm going to go in there, handle that. Prayerfully, you got some good information. If you want to ask us questions, feel free. The best way to do it, I bit my cheek, seriously. The best way to do it is to email us at support@outstandingpersonrelationships.com. Also, we redesigned the website and all that stuff. We have a lot of good things coming up. So if you haven't already downloaded the report, 5 keys to crafting and fulfilling marriage, especially in polygyny, outstandingpersonrelationships.com. Go ahead and do that. Check it out. It's super dope. And that's it. I'm out. Appreciate y'all. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.